hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am Becca Jo, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Today is the start of our new makeup diary series. I'm hoping to get either 3 or 4 days of makeup into this video. Of course, you know by now because you've seen the title, but here we are with day 1. Let's just get right into it. I started off with my Lorac Pro Skin Primer. I've talked about this before, that it really just helps my skin feel balanced, moisturized and balanced, and I really appreciate that primer. I don't wear it every day, but I did wear it today. Under my eyes, I have my Bobbi Brown Under Eye Corrector. This is the shade Light Bisque. For my all over foundation, I'm trying out again my Ilia Skin Rewind Complexion Stick. This is the shade 4N Holly, and I used less of this time to hopefully avoid it feeling and looking makeup-y. It looks very skin-like right now, so we'll see as the day progresses how I feel about the texture on my skin. Under my eyes, I have my Kosas Revealer Concealer. This is in the shade 01N. For my contour slash bronzer today, I'm wearing Cream Contour Stick. This is the shade Biscuit by Westman Atelier. And I set everything down with my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. I'm pretty sure I can get through this. If not in this video, it's going to be very soon. But I'm excited that this product is almost empty. I'm not a project panner, but you still get an excitement when you get pan or work all the way through a product. I have Sydney Grace Clear Strong Brow Gel through my brows. On my cheeks, I have Sydney Grace Cream Blush in the shade Rosebud. This is just a nice, pretty, neutral peachy shade, and I've been reaching for a lot cooler and pinker tones lately, so this feels very peachy warm compared to what I'm used to, what I've been wearing lately. To top that cream blush, I'm wearing Unearthly Cosmetics Spring Magic Blush Palette. I used the shade down here, Incantation, just to set down that cream blush. I forgot to mention, after setting down my face, I went in with my Sydney Grace Luminous Light palette in the light version and use the shade Starlight as my powder bronzer. While doing my makeup, I had my Blend Bunny lip oil. This is the shade Love Bite on my lips. And when I finished my makeup, most of that was gone, but there was a little bit left and I didn't remove it. On top, I added my Sydney Grace lip cream in the shade Mary. So the combination of the lip oil and the lip cream made it maybe just a little bit more sheer than it normally would be. Getting into eyes, I started off with my About Face eyeshadow primer. And then on my eyes, I knew I wanted a green shade that was gonna go with this jacket that I'm wearing today. So I dipped into my Cosmic Dreamer palette by Ensley Rain and took this green shade Dreamer, just tapped it on the outer portion of my eye and then just blended it all over my eye. For the beautiful shimmer shade that's on my lid, I used one of my favorite shades in my collection, and that is from Ensley Rain Groovy Garden. It's this shade right here, Jazz. This is such a fun sheer topper shade. It gets me, it's so exciting. Anyway, I just tapped that all over my lid and it gave this impactful yet not over the top, not overly deep splash of color, of sparkle, of fun. So that's it that I have on for eyeshadows, just those 2 shades. I did go in with my Smashbox Superfan mascara. And yeah, I believe that was everything for day 1 for today's look. So thanks for being here and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, welcome back to day 2. Here is my look, my face, my makeup for day 2. I wanted a little bit more skin focus today and a more simple look on the eyes, but I'm really happy with where everything turned out, so let me walk you through. I am wearing my Natasha Denona concealer and corrector. Of course, the corrector is under my eye and the concealer is also under my eye, and then I put spots of the concealer kind of around my face and blended it all out with a damp sponge. So that was in lieu of my foundation today. I don't know why, I just wanted to use concealer as foundation today, but I'm very happy with the skin-like finish that I have on my look today. Next, I have my Sephora Contour Stick. You saw this mentioned in my last video. So I have this concentrated just on the backs of my cheeks and then a little bit around the hairline. For my blush today, I used 2 of my Glaminatrix liquid blushes. These are the shades Lavish and Gentle. I combined these on the back of my hand, tapped a little on my cheek, and then used a brush to blend it out. And they look very nice. These are very pretty products. They're not like anything amazing wow, but I don't know what I would want from them. So they look very pretty and I'm happy with them today. I did top my liquid blushes with this Unearthly Spring Magic blush. I dipped into the shade Up Here, which is Crystal, and just added a little splash of that over the tops of my cheeks as well. Of course, I set everything down with my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. I used a little bit of my blonde eyebrow pomade from Sydney Grace in my brows, as well as Clear Stronghold Brow Gel. I used my About Face eyeshadow primer and my Sydney Grace cream shadow. This is the shade The Queen. It's just a very pretty, like, blushy pink shade, and I put a little bit of this in the back of my hand, took it with my finger, spread it out where I wanted it, and then used a fluffy brush to just kind of blend out the edges. And it is so pretty with a little bit more than nothing, but it's not like in your face, which, like I said, is what I'm going for today. And I love these if you're new here. I love the Sydney Grace cream shadows, and this will last all day on my lids and look immaculate at the end of the day. I did also go in with this LA Girl eyeliner. This is in the shade Brown. I just wanted to add a little bit more depth to my upper lash line, so I just used this to line my lashes. Nothing exciting, didn't smudge it out, didn't wing it out, but it looks nice. And like I said, it just added a little bit of definition. I'm wearing my Smashbox Superfan mascara, and on my lips, I went in with my Benefit, I think they call this their splash tint, but this is the shade Summer Fling. I put that on my lips, gave it a couple minutes, and then dabbed it off, just kind of what was sitting on top of my skin, dabbed that off with a cloth, and then put a little Sydney Grace lip topper in the shade Danny on top of that. So here we are, day 2, ready to rock and roll. I am going into the office again today. Let me send you along to day 3. Hello there, welcome back to day 3. Here is my look today for day 3. Another day of going into the office, so let me show you what I'm wearing on my face today. I started off with this itty bitty sample of MAC Cosmetic Strobe Cream. This is in the shade Pink Light. I just put this all over my face as a little bit of a primer. Under my eyes, I have my Bobbi Brown Under Eye Corrector. Then also under my eyes and all over my face, I wanted to try my Iris and Romeo Best Skin Days Treatment Concealer. This is in the shade 2. I have talked about this a little bit in a few other videos, saying like I'm not totally sure how I feel about it. Using it all over the face, it is beautiful. It blends into the skin so well. It's a more thin formula, so it's not like caking up. Of course, we'll see how it wears throughout the day today, but at the moment, it looks so skin-like and it provides some nice coverage. So I'm very happy with my base today. Everything is set down with, you guessed it, Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. Before I set my face, I used my Danessa Myricks Contour Balm. This is in the shade Fair 1, and used this to contour / bronze the perimeters of my face. From there, I went into my brows and used my Sydney Grace Mad For You brow palette. This is the blonde grouping, and this blonde shade is really just working for me lately. So I used this through my brows and then set everything with my Sydney Grace Clear Stronghold Brow Gel. I have About Face eyeshadow primer on my lids, and today I went in with my Ensley Rain Underland palette for my eyes. For my look today, I started with Dreadful Dreams, put that on the outer portion of my eye, and then blended it a little bit through the crease with a really fluffy brush. Next, I reached into Cheshire's Curse, which is really hard to say, Cheshire's Curse, which is this beautiful deep purple shade. Put that in the outer corner. I used a little bit of Jabberwocky. I think this shade is so smart in this palette. It looks maybe a little bit teal right now, but it has a burgundy / purple shift to it, so it goes with so many of the shades in this palette. So I used Jabberwocky just a little bit on the outer portion of my eye, and then I took this beautiful shade here, Shatter Looking Glass, and put that over the remainder of my eye. I did also take a splash of Twisted Rabbit, this white matte here, and very, very gently, I didn't want to stark contrast, but I used it just a little bit under my brows and on my inner corners. I used a splash, no pun intended, of the shade Ocean of this LA Girl liner in my waterlines, just kind of on like the outer half of my lower waterline. Smashbox Superfan mascara. For blush today, I reached into one of my palettes of Sydney Grace blush and highlighter singles, and I used this shade, which is Mauve Delight. I have been reaching for these blushes again lately because they're just so smooth on the skin. They're just so beautiful. So loving that blush today. I topped it with my Unearthly low light highlighter in the shade Twilight. Hopefully you can see it's just a little bit of sparkle on the tops of my cheeks. It's nothing like crazy impactful, it's just a little bit, and you probably won't notice it unless you're kind of looking for it. I probably could have built that shade up, that highlighter, but this was a level that I liked for going into the office. I'm not trying to beam too bright. Lastly, on my lips, Unearthly. This is one of their lip glosses in the shade Juice. I really like this formula. I wanted to pick up another lip gloss when I purchased a few things for their like Halloween sale, but the way that it was being shipped separately, it was like shipping in a separate order and had its own additional shipping cost of like $5 or something. And I just couldn't justify whatever the shipping price was. I couldn't justify that on top of what I was paying for the lip gloss. So it was weird because I also had that happen with the route shipping, which is not like a product that gets shipped. It's like a shipping insurance. And the website was trying to say that it was going to cost $10 or whatever it was to ship the route shipping. I was very confused by that. So anyway, all of the things that I had in my Unearthly cart, I ended up backing off a couple of items, the lip gloss being one, and there may have been something else just because of the way that the shipping costs were being broken out. So anyway, saga over. This is what I'm wearing for my makeup today. And this was day 3 and I should be able to get you to day 4. So let's do that now. Okay, these bangs are killing me. I'm trying so hard to like finagle with them. I'm just gonna have to move them out of the way for now. We will make them work for another day. In the meantime, welcome back. Here's day 4. Another day of going into the office today, and I have a long day today. It will be quite a while before I make it back home. So I really want my makeup to last well throughout the day. Speaking of lasting well, I know I've mentioned that about the last several days and curious how the base products that I've worn have lasted throughout the day. I will leave in the description box below how the makeup wore each day, and I'll give you that conclusion with today too. So let's talk about what I'm wearing for makeup today. Started off with a classic, my Bobbi Brown under eye corrector in the shade Light Bis, and then I used my e.l.f. Power Grip primer today. I was hoping that this will maybe help the foundation that I'm wearing last a little bit better throughout the day. Said foundation is my new Glossier foundation in the shade Very Light 4. I have worn this a few times, but it's been a few days, and the few times that I've worn it, it looks so gorgeous. It looks so skin-like. Honestly, I didn't even use like an entire half a pump today putting this all over my face. It's got a lot of pigmentation to it. So I'm hoping that the sticky grippy primer will help it last a little bit better throughout the day. You know that I set everything down with my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. I'm also wearing my Sephora contour stick, really just concentrated on the back portion of my cheeks and then right up here at the top of my foreheads. Lately, I've been like bringing this all around my hairline, very lightly, not doing a heavy layer of this, but I just focused it up here and then over here today just to try something different. I'm also wearing this little liquid blush. This is the brand Beauty Concepts. I picked this up with another shade. It was a 2-pack of liquid blushes at my local TJ Maxx. So I'm wearing the deeper of the 2 shades today. I forgot to mention, under my eyes, I'm wearing my Kosas Revealer Concealer. This is the shade 01N. Brows, we have my Sydney Grace Mad For You Brow Palette. I used the shade Blonde throughout my brows, as well as Sydney Grace Clear Stronghold Brow Gel. Nothing new on either of those products. I also decided to pull out some of my Sydney Grace single eyeshadows today. I started off with this shade, which is Iced Mocha. Ran that very lightly through my crease and then dipped into the shade right next to it, which is Iced Cocoa. Used that to deepen up the outer portion of my eye. And then I wanted to just add a little bit more contrast, a little more color to the look. So I reached into this like reddy brown shade, which is Voila, and used that also just in the outer corner to deepen up the look. And then I love these Sydney Grace Multichromes. They are beautiful formulas. They're very smooth. And I reached into Ripple Effect today for the outer portion of my eye, and then I used Ocean View over the rest of my lid. So I think it gave just a very fun but very smooth, sparkly but in a very simple way. Like it just, I've said it before, I feel like Sydney Grace is just sophisticated in like everything that they do in all of their formulas, and I feel like this eye look came out so sophisticated and I'm very happy with it. Sophisticated, but with a little splash of fun. We're not just using neutral colors, there's a little bit of color in there. I'm very happy with it. I forgot to say it, but I did use my About Face eyeshadow primer before putting on the eyeshadow. I have a tiny splash of Clinique liner. This is in the shade Smoky Brown, just on the lower waterline, just kind of on this outer corner here. Also wearing my Smashbox Superfan mascara. After eyes, I went back in with powder bronzer. This is Give Me Glow bronzer in the shade Ocean Drive, and just tapped this on my cheeks. And then I dipped into the shade Crystal up here in the corner from the Unearthly Spring Magic blush palette to just top off my blush today. And last but certainly not least, Sydney Grace lip cream in the shade Charissa. This lip shade is such a perfect shade for me. I love it, and I like don't use it for a little while, come back to it, and I'm reminded the formula is beautiful, the color is beautiful. I'm a big fan. I'm considering picking up a few more of their lip creams in the Black Friday sale. I think the formula is fantastic and it's more pigmented, but it's a glossy texture and finish and consistency. So I've said recently I'm going for like the moisturized lip, not a drying or matte lip lately. So these really suit that, and they have lots of beautiful shades. Okay, so that is everything that I have for this video. 4 looks. Let me know below which of the 4 looks was your favorite. I probably could say each of them, but each day I am grabbing for makeup that I love. I have it in my collection because I love it, so I want to wear it because I love it. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you liked this video or you like this style of video, please like the video, give me a comment so that I know to continue this type of content for you all. If you are new to my channel, I'd love it if you'd consider becoming a subscriber. And yeah, I'm so glad that you joined me for this journey of the latest rendition of my Makeup Diary series. I have an entire playlist, so I'll make sure that's linked below. All of that said, I hope to see you in the next video.